Welcome back to the Scoop College Basketball Podcast. We are back for another conference preview, trying to cram all of them in right now before the season starts. It's going to be a close call, but I think we're going to at least have them all done by the time the games start. I'm not sure if they'll all be fully posted by then, but they will be posted at the very latest on the by the November 6th. We'll get everything done, wrapped up before the games actually tip off. So, yeah, but we have the American East on deck now, very dominated by Vermont in the past few years. It's obviously been their conference no matter. Every time people want to think there's a trendy team that's going to take them over, it never seems to happen. As a conference, the American East was 25th in KenPom last year, 25th predicted again this year. And yeah, Vermont was a tournament team. They lost to Marquette in the first round, but yeah, pretty standard Vermont team. Any thoughts about this conference, Kyle?
I think it's actually really intriguing this year. I'm surprised. It's a conference I usually hate. But I didn't mind doing it this year.
Yeah, definitely some intrigue there. I agree. But yeah, to all conference members from last year, on the first team, Clarence Daniels, he is back in New Hampshire. Robin Duncan from Vermont exhausts his eligibility. Sharif Gross-Bullock is back at Bryant. Everett Hammond exhausts his eligibility. And Finn Sullivan exhausts his eligibility. On the second team, Abdul Kareem Koulibaly is back at UMass Lowell. Jacob Falco exhausts his eligibility. Dylan Penn exhausted his eligibility as well. Charles Pride transferred to St. Bonaventure. And Earl Timberlake is back at Bryant. On the third team, Alan Blunt exhausts his eligibility. Nick Johnson transferred to Winthrop. Jetty Jules Patisse, he exhausts his eligibility. Colton Lawrence did as well. And Kellen Tynes, he is back at Maine. So, some coaching changes in the league. New Hampshire, they got a new coach. They got Nathan Davis. I think isn't he the guy coming from Bucknell? I know it was I know it was a question a lot. I know a lot of people were questioning the hire.
I don't even think they should have canned the last guy, to be honest.
No, Harrion was doing good, and yeah,
they played hard. They played competitive. They were really good at home. I remember when they were at home, I would always bet on them, and they were good there. But I don't think they were all that bad last year.
Yeah, Nathan Davis, he was a Bucknell coach. He was he's a guy that's been a Bucknell coach. They literally
that's not
fired
good.
a coach just to hire someone that's not even better. He's probably worse.
He's probably worse.
He was good early in his career at Bucknell, but there's a reason he got fired from Bucknell. And New Hampshire
he just hasn't been able to bring in talent. And the issue I have with this New Hampshire roster is talent. We'll get into.
Yep, definitely a downgrade, except for one player who was really good. But,
awesome. And he tested the portal and then came back for some reason, which I don't really know why. But
I think it was a two-time transfer thing where he wouldn't have been eligible immediately.
Where did he come from?
He went to a D2 school, then he went JUCO, then he went to
That's
New Hampshire.
Right.
Clarence Daniels is who we're talking about. So, if you go JUCO, if you go,
I love Clarence Daniels. I watched so much of him last year. He is so good.
But if you go 4 year, then JUCO, then 4 year again, then you can't do another 4 year transfer. Okay. So that's how the rules work. That's probably a main reason why he came back. But NJIT also got a new coach. Grant Billmeyer is the new head man in town there. Yeah, Seton or Ken Willer guy. I think he's been with him at Seton Hall. Been with him at Maryland for the last year. So
NJIT's last coach was brutal. Yeah, he needed to go.
Another job is going to take a little bit of time, but familiar with the area. Don't hate the pickup. And yeah, I believe those are the only two coaching changes in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Well, Bryant actually has some ongoing coaching changes. They have Phil Martello Jr. as their current interim head coach. Doesn't look like Jared Grosso is going to be back anytime soon.
I don't think so. And he also had a hit and run. I got body cam footage.
Did you watch? I watched a whole 30-minute video.
Yeah, same. I was watching the whole. It was too funny, man.
You watched the whole thing?
Yeah. He was like, "Hello, I'm Jared Grosso. I'm the head coach of Bryant University."
The funniest part was when he asked Softserve if he wanted to shoot hoops. That was a moment, and yeah, Jared Grosso. Don't think he's gonna, and that was completely unrelated to why he was on leave too.
Oh, I know. Of course.
He got put on leave, then he hit and
that happened. Um, yeah, I don't think it. Look, and if he's not back, that's a good thing for Bryant. We'll get to that.
Good. It's can go both ways, but I like Phil Martelli Sr., so I'm
Yeah,
hopefully I like Phil Martelli Jr. too. But yeah, going to all conference teams, who'd you have winning player of the year?
I think it's pretty easy in Sharif Gross Bullock.
Okay, well, I have Aaron Deloney for Vermont. I saw a
Oh
stat that the
man,
last 7 years someone from Vermont has won it. It doesn't matter. He's gonna win it. Someone from Vermont is always gonna win
he's on
it.
my third team actually. There's
Really.
just a lot of good guards in this
But it's
conference.
always gonna be Vermont. Like who won it last year? Wasn't like Finn Sullivan? And like,
Are they just incredibly biased towards Vermont people,
well,
no
they're
matter if
just
they
so
win the
good.
conference or not?
They're
But
just
then
so
again,
good.
player of the year comes down to like who's the best statistically, usually in other conferences. That's usually how it
Well,
goes.
Vermont, someone from Vermont always wins it. I don't see that
Uh,
changing, and I think
Probably
Vermont's
not.
just
I mean,
so good. So
I think it
I
could
went
be
with
Shamir
him.
Bogues too. Could
Yeah.
definitely be
Yeah. So did you have Bosch in your first team?
second team.
Okay.
I have no
So
Vermont member on my first team.
okay. That's interesting. But yeah, I did have Grossblock on my first team. He's very solid player as well. Put up some big numbers last year. Bryant, don't see any reason why he's not going to put up similar numbers yet again. Um, who else do you have in your first team?
Here's someone who I actually got to watch a couple times last year on a program that's historically horrible, but last year was their first good year in a long time. And I have Kellen Tynes of Maine.
Yep. I had him
Um,
there as well.
I think he is fantastic. I remember
Elite defender.
I think he hit a buzzer beater against Bryant or somebody on Maine did. That game was crazy. It was at Maine, and that was like the complete summit of or maybe the lowest point of Jared Grosso's season last year is when he lost at Maine on buzzer beater.
Maine's building.
They're intriguing,
Their new coach, their head coach was
I
new
like
last year.
him.
He's building Markwood. Yeah.
Um,
Um,
No, Maine is actually a sleeper.
mhm.
As far as one of those programs that's just been so bad for so long, usually like you shoe them in as bottom 10 in college basketball.
Couldn't
Um,
get Cooper flag though.
I
Hopefully they get Ace
know.
flag though. That would be cool at least.
Right.
Um,
No,
consolation
hopefully they
prize.
get one of them. But no, I love Kellen Tynes. He is the real
Mm.
deal.
He's an
Um,
elite defender, really good passer. Should take
mhm.
a scoring jump with Jules Batiste not there anymore. I probably butchered the name, but yeah.
On
Uh,
first team as well, bit of a stretch maybe, but again, with this roster, he is the like only returner on the whole roster, pretty much. So I've Adam Hess, of
okay.
NJIT. I think he's in for a volume jump just because him and Makai Gray are the only two guys that are back. I know he's not an amazing shot creator, but Hess does not need much space to get off his shot. He's great coming off screens. He's been a great shooter his whole career. Um, yeah, no, I definitely could see him averaging like 12 to 15 a game on great efficiency. I could see it.
Yeah, I know you are an Adam Hess guy, but I'm not sure what to pick. I didn't have him on my all conference team, but I think he's a good shooter. I think NJIT is going to be so bad.
Yeah, and that's
He's not going to
true.
put up monumental numbers that'll really sway him on all conference teams. Although someone
Yeah,
in a
that's
bad team
true.
that I do have is Clarence Daniels.
Yeah,
Average
I have
double
him
double
too.
last year was a
Shoe in a first team.
very dominant player. I mean, obviously we talked about him entering the portal. He had interest from some of the top schools. Very good rebounding forward, tough
Elite and mid
inside.
range. Yeah,
Yes.
really good there.
Yeah. And my
And
last
then Earl Timberlake.
I did not have Ward. I had Timberlake on my second team, but my last member to first team was Abdul Kareem Koulibaly for UMass Lowell. Very solid big man. Should take a jump in production. A few of their good players are leaving, but they're still gonna be a very good team. I think he is gonna be their best player. Can pass a little bit for the big man,
Yeah, he
physical
does a lot of
inside.
the little
I
things.
mean, he played at Pitt when St. Bonaventure. Obviously, they don't like playing their bench, so he didn't get minutes. But
He just
yeah,
didn't put
he.
up crazy numbers last year for me, so I actually left him
I
off
mean,
my all conference teams.
really, that's interesting. I mean, he put up like decent numbers.
Yeah,
I
I mean they're not
mean,
bad.
I think you my soul is going to be really good though. I mean,
They
he
are
was
gonna
really
be good.
efficient,
Yeah,
good defender, really good rebounder.
I
I
don't have
mean,
them as high as other people do.
okay, well we'll get around to that. Interested to see our thoughts here, but yeah. So those are your 5. You've listed
Yes.
5, right? Yeah. So I
Yeah,
had
Earl
Timberlake
Timberlake,
second
if he's
team.
healthy, like he wasn't last year, but if he's healthy this year, he was so good last year when he was
Hmm.
healthy. He's gonna just dominate this conference if he is
Yeah,
double
I had
double
Bogue's
machine.
second team as well. Elite defender, elite defender, especially for this conference. Vermont is going to be just like they're clicking away. Very good system. Not sure how great he'll be offensively. Definitely more of a defensive
Mm,
option, which is why I don't think he's a guy that can really win Player of the Year like the Vermont guys always do. But very solid
that's
uh,
true.
starter for them. And Jonathan Beagle, another guy that's
Yeah,
pretty consensus all conference guy, rising sophomore, entered the portal but came back. Could could really see a jump. And Albany has a few guys that I do like.
I do like Albany as well. I have Justin
Mhm.
Neely of Albany on my second team.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
very high
okay.
on
I
him.
mean, he was
Um,
hurt all last year, but as a freshman, he kind of impressed me.
Freshman and sophomore.
Freshman of the year, um,
Yeah,
in the league. I mean,
could really
obviously
score
hurt
in
last year.
few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he's athletic for the league. I think he's someone. I mean, you don't know how he is coming off injury,
Yeah, of
but
course. Was it
I
like a
mean,
knee or an
I
ACL?
don't even remember. But it's been a full year, so
Hope
I
he's all
hope
right.
he's 100%. I
So I
went
have
with
another in
okay,
Rafael Pinzone from
okay.
Bryant.
I had him third team. I really liked
I
him in
think
St. John's.
I did too. I think he's going to be a great fit at Bryant with their pace of play. I think he's going to play off Gross Bullock really well in an off-ball role. And this is a Bryant team, especially if Gross is out, that I actually really like. I think they're really good on paper. This is one of their best rosters, honestly.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me, but
Yeah, another guy was Ayinde Hakeem from UMass Lowell. Not the most efficient guy, but definitely again another guy with some production to make up. Should hopefully get more efficient with just another year in the program. Maybe gets a little more volume. And very well run program. He's going to need to step up. And I mean, he's a key player last year, averaging in double figures. Obviously, Everett Hammond no longer in Everett Hammond and Alan Blunt are the two guys they lost. So definitely some production to make up there. My last guy was Dion Brown for UMBC, rising sophomore. I think UMBC needs someone to really step up. So I chose him. He's been in the program. Definitely could see a big sophomore jump out of Brown.
yeah. So I have Samir Torrance of Binghamton.
Okay.
Um, I there's some intriguing
I
pieces of
like Samir
Binghamton.
Torrance, but like I don't think he's like an all conference. I think he's just gonna be like really like I had him third on my all conference or my transfer list, but I think he's like really solid. Like he's just not gonna like put up crazy numbers.
Yeah, he might be one of those guys for sure. He definitely gave off some of those vibes at Syracuse. But then again, I think being at Binghamton, like they really only had Dan Petkish next to him, and
Don't
like
they have Armand Hari?
yeah, Dave him as well. I think he's on my breakout list or something. No, he
I had
was on
him
my
third.
third team.
I had
I
him third
knocked him
team though.
off though. Yeah. But they do have those three guys. But I think Torrance could do a lot defensively. He could be a pretty solid scorer. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I have Beagle, second team. So
Okay. Yeah. While we're at it, I have Armand Harriet on my third team. I think he's gonna be Binghamton's leading scorer. They lost some pieces, so hopefully he's the one that steps in there. I had Pinzone. Another guy I had was Amari Marshall from Albany. Played at Hofstra as a freshman, averaged 5 points per game. I mean, didn't light the world on fire, but like went off against Purdue at Purdue, so that's pretty noteworthy
he's big on
there.
my breakout list.
I think he
Yeah.
could have a big breakout. He was a guy originally I low on my transfer list when I was doing it like a few weeks ago, and I looked into it, moved him up a lot higher. Could see the potential for him to be like really good. Um,
Mm,
yeah, I mean, he ever played good minutes as a starter and like was decently effective on a top 100 team. So I really like where he can go. So yeah, I had him third team.
okay. Yeah. So I have uh, there we go. I have Hakeem from
Okay,
UMass
yeah,
Lowell,
yeah,
LaSalle legend.
yes.
And then I have Aaron Delaney.
Mm-hmm.
He was six man last year. I think he'll be in a bigger role this year.
Yeah,
Definitely probably could be their feature scorer, but we'll see. You just never know with with how Vermont is and how balanced they are, especially this year. Like they
Hmm.
have Bogues, they have the one big from Delaware who's been in college basketball forever.
Yeah, Beretta.
Um,
Yeah,
Beretta.
I did my third team over at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have him on there as well. Yeah, so I have Delaney and I have Dan Peckish,
okay,
Binghamton on my third team. And then I have Aaron Reddish of Albany on
okay.
my third team.
Yeah, my last player is Peter Filopati from Maine. He's a guy that I was watching like one like JUCO like showcase like a few years ago, and like I saw this guy and I didn't know who he was, but he really stood out to me. Was really making effective plays both sides of the court, really skilled. So yeah, like and he's been pretty good at Maine too. Like that's before he really had any offers. I mean, he didn't really have that many offers at all ever, but like I think
Mm,
he's definitely a really effective player, someone that could break out with maybe he gets a little more minutes. I mean, they have a lot of returning, so not like a huge role to open up, but I think he can still be a very effective player and the main team that I do like. And then
yeah, they
Fredo is my
got
final guy.
him and Milos are both two really good foreign guys. I actually
Mm-hmm.
looked at
Maine gets foreign guys a lot.
or no, it was Christian's Firebergs, I think was the one. Yeah,
Let's
Firebergs
see.
he looks good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
8 and 5,
4 and 5, I think. Yeah.
50% from the field. Plus they have look, geez. I
Yes.
wasn't no, Maine's gonna be fun this year.
It will.
Hopefully tune into a game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Any more guys in your third team?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, top 10 transfers. I mean, I made my list. You obviously didn't. So we'll just go through this.
There are some good transfers in this conference, so I'm interested to
Yeah.
hear your list.
I had Pinzone 1,
Yeah, I think that's
Bogues
fair.
2,
Yeah.
3 I had Torrance,
Okay.
4 Brenton Mills for Vermont. Vermont's a really good program. I mean, he wasn't great at Bowling Green, but he was an all-conference guy when he was at Binghamton. Definitely thinking that under great coaching, that'll get back up to where it was, and he could be a very solid starter once again in the conference. 5, Murray Marshall. Definitely has the potential to be higher, but somewhat unproven at this point. I mean, I think he's proved himself pretty good, but how is he going to be? Maybe being a number 1 option, we don't know. Number 6, TJ Long for Vermont. Solid scorer, shooter at Fairfield. Think he's someone that can just fit in the system perfectly. Should be a good bench piece that should still play significant minutes there. Number 7, I had Andres Fulgencio for UMass Lowell. D2 transfer, can really shoot the ball there. Should provide some real help in the Riverhawks backcourt. Number 8, I have Bryce Johnson from UMBC, Chicago State transfer. Pretty skilled offensive player with some decent size for his for a point guard, I believe. That should again fill in for UMBC. They're pretty thin right now. Number 9, I had Sebastian Thomas coming from Rhode Island to Albany. Wasn't that efficient, but was a very solid passer. I mean, if he adds more to his game, then I think he can really break out a little bit. Definitely, you would think he would get more efficient moving down a level, and yeah, I think he has a lot of potential there still, even though he wasn't that great at Rhode Island. Number 10, I had Jace Roquemore, very solid all around player coming to Vermont. From UC San Diego, again, Vermont really can get the best out of guys, so I think he'll be very solid. Any objections with that list? Any
No, yeah, those are all guys I was looking at. Chase is gonna be really solid there.
and anyone you were looking at that I didn't mention?
No, no, Amari was definitely on my radar, pretty big. Um, well, that's pretty much it, honestly. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Did you have breakout players then?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I had Quentin Mincy of UMass Lowell. Believe he's in their front court, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's
Um,
a forward.
yeah, so he's actually listed as 6'7" guard here, but
Yeah, I mean
he
power
listed
forward,
you
small
yeah, he
forward,
went
wing,
4
whatever.
and 3. Shot 50% from the field, 41% from three. A really good
Mm-hmm.
efficiency splits. Cannot shoot free throws, but
Mm,
yeah, he's actually a worse free throw shooter than he is from the field, so that's not good. At
it's not good.
47%, but he does seem to do everything else well and has a good frame, good size. So I have him on my breakout list.
Yes. For my breakout player,
Uh,
I went with a guy from UMass Lowell as well. I went with Braden O'Connor. I feel like everyone's just been like super high on him that I've heard
he
about. Like
looks nice.
I
Yeah,
think
I
he
looked
was
at him
like the
too.
breakout player of the year in Almanac. I mean, he was a freshman, got some solid minutes toward the end of last year, had some decent games, came on strong to finish. I think he's a guy that could really improve with potentially being a starting lineup this upcoming year. Definitely someone I could see a big improvement and really break out as a solid starter in the conference.
All right. So I had Jordan Thompson of UMass Lowell as well, I think.
Okay, a JUCO transfer, yeah, could
Yes.
be an impactful point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Averaged 7 assists at JUCO, over 18 points.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, really filled up the stat sheet. Can't go wrong with that. I had a Kel J. Gruff for NGIT. Definitely a big man. I think could just improve a little bit. NGIT is pretty weak. I think he's a guy that could definitely see some big
Him and
improvements.
Makai Gray, definitely.
Yeah.
Makai Gray has potential. I watched him
Did
a
you
bit
have
last
him?
year. Yes. I
Okay.
had Makai Gray definitely on my breakout list. I had
Okay.
Justin Anderson of NJIT, which might be dumb. His stats were terrible last year. But he's literally one of three returners. Um, I feel like he's got to take a step up in scoring because it can't be much worse.
Yeah.
You know, and they had two good guys in Asawe and I forget their other guard's name. Um,
Um,
it took a lot of
Miles
shots.
Coleman.
Yes, and they took a lot of shots. So I feel like he's going to definitely have more volume this year, and that'll kind of lead to maybe not the prettiest of breakouts, but a breakout
Okay.
nonetheless.
Yeah. One guy I had a few transfers in. One guy I had was Okay Jamguz for he's coming from Drake, going to Maine. Really good shooter. Should be like in a 6-man role for Maine. Can get more minutes. Yeah, can really shoot the ball. I think is a guy that could make an impact more. Didn't get a ton of minutes at Drake. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know I saw him.
a
He's
guy
the one that
guy I did
definitely stood
really
out
like.
to me.
Guy I did really like when he
It was a
played
good
at Drake.
pickup. Yeah. Just
Absolutely.
didn't get the minutes at Drake, which is not a problem because they were
My
very
other
deep.
transfer, I'll just go straight into it. It's Tyler Bertram, uh, from let's see, is he
He transferred. No, I think he's a two-time bud. I know who
no,
you're talking
he's
about,
been in college forever.
but he
But
has.
he's at
Oh, okay.
Albany. I was thinking he was at Albany. I know he was at Binghamton before,
He
so I had him
was.
down on my sheet
That's where
as
I'm looking right
Binghamton, but like
now.
I'm like, wait, he's at Albany. But yeah, he's been in college basketball for like ever. So I
He was
think
at
he's a grad.
UAB too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's coming from UAB where he didn't really play, so you probably don't remember him there. But yeah, double-digit score in the conference. I think he's the guy that could really step into an Albany team that got a lot got a lot of transfers that could see impactful minutes this year.
And a good
Um,
coaching staff. I think staff altogether that I
mm,
think's on the rise, hopefully.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
hey,
we'll see. We'll see.
they did 9-9 last year in conference, which is a lot better than
Albany,
that's what I thought I read.
they had three. They were 3-13.
Yeah, all right, maybe. I don't know what I read.
I don't know what you read either.
You know how these websites try and
Yeah.
shape things
Anyway,
into
do you have any do you have any more guys?
um I had Chris Walker Binghamton as my last guy. I think it's
Okay,
a Binghamton that I do
transfer.
like.
Let's see. Is he? Yeah, Little Rock transfer.
No.
The guard, and then I did let's see, yeah, maybe Albany went that in
Oh yeah, in his
conference.
first season, they won 9-9 in
He's getting
conference
this.
play. There we go. Of
Okay,
course,
I do
the
have one
fine
more
print.
guy, and we'll see how you feel about this. I went with Doug Eder, and I'll tell you why.
I originally had him on my third team.
Because he was bad last year. He was terrible last year, but he was a really good offensive player at St. Peter's.
He
Like
was.
he was elite offensively there. He was like the only
Grosso
really
hated
plus
him,
on
man.
offense, but in I mean, he just wasn't himself last year. He didn't have the same efficiency. He just wasn't an
He barely
impactful player
played.
overall.
Yeah,
I mean,
that too.
he barely played deservedly so because of how bad he was
Yeah, I
playing.
mean,
Like,
of course.
but at the same time, like now it's been a year. The hype has kind of died down around him.
Well, now Charles Pride's gone too.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't hurt either. I mean, they bring in Pinzone, so kind of. I mean, he's not the same scorer, but still
Right.
impactful player in that position. But yeah, Edwards a guy that can really shoot the ball. I mean, obviously, I think there was a point where like people like overhyped him after because the
His
tournament stuff,
shot will fall.
but then that also like kind
Yeah.
of turned into people like underhyping him, saying like how bad he was just because he was made a few plays. Like he was a really good offensive player.
He was.
I think he can definitely, if
His
he can
3-point
find that
shot just
groove.
wasn't falling last year, which is
No,
very
just
uncharacteristic of him. He's always been a good shooter throughout his career, so I definitely look for him to have a better year, and that's part of the reason I am high on Bryant this year.
let's look at what he shot. He shot like under 30% from 3-point range last
It's
year, and the year
crazy for
before that,
him. He's
yeah,
like
yeah, year before
45.
he shot like over 40%. He had like a
Uh,
63% true shooting percentage at St. Peter's,
he
a
was insane.
44 at Bryant. Was just not really that good. Turned the ball over a lot more.
Yeah.
Just didn't really do anything good. But I mean, he was an elite offensive player, like in the max. So yeah, I think he will get back up there. So let's see. Any more breakout players for you?
That's everyone.
Okay, so
That
all
one
freshman
UMBC
team.
guy you had on your third team is someone I also had.
Dion Brown, yeah,
Deion Brown, yes.
yeah, second team. But yeah, all freshman team. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know anything about these guys really, but just from people that were projected big minutes. Two guys for NGIT. I think might find himself in the starting lineup. That is Jalen Robinson and Jeffrey Akintolu. Again, don't know much about them, but I think they're gonna start. So
I like
can't really go
Sebastian
wrong.
Robinson over Jalen Robinson. I think he's a
Okay,
little
I mean,
bigger, is better at frame. Um, I know one played at Russell, I believe. Um, one of them did.
who do you have?
I have Sebastian Robinson of NJIT.
Hmm. I don't know. Yeah, I just I
He's
missed him.
another
I think
freshman.
Jalen Robbins is going to be the starter.
Well, let's check the roster, shall we?
Yeah, I mean it's his. I feel like that's what
It is a roster for
he must
sure.
have just said. Let's
Yeah,
check out.
Sebastian Robinson is from Roselle Catholic from Montclair. Um, Jalen Robinson's 5'9". I'd really just rather not have that on the floor.
Uh, okay, let me check out his offers at least.
Sebastian Robinson actually played alongside DJ Wagner and Aaron Rodshaw as freshman at Camden. Fun
Okay.
fact. For
I
COVID
mean,
19, but
let's check out Jalen Robbins. Where did he play?
play like Columbia.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
But I feel like people are high on him to start, so
okay,
maybe he does.
interesting.
I mean, NGIG is not that good anyway, but yeah, Akintola is another guy I've seen projected in the starting lineup. So
Yeah, I could see that.
um, yeah. Let's see. Who else do I have? I have Gavin Walsh for Binghamton. Um,
Oh, he follows me. Yeah, no, he's
really?
really athletic.
Yeah, could
Um,
definitely be a solid piece. Maybe starts, maybe comes off the bench. Yeah. Did you have him?
I actually didn't. Oh, I didn't think of him. I have Keenan Bay from UMass Lowell, 6'7", really strong forward from Bishop Gorman, really
Okay.
credible. High school, one defensive player of the
Mhm.
year. And I think UMass Lowell struggled on defense in recent years. And they've been an offense first team, and I think he can bring some real versatility that they might not have on that team. So.
Yeah, another guy I had was Seth Ajoba for Vermont. He's a guy I think I can reasonably get minutes right away for Vermont. Obviously, very solid team, but if any of the freshmen on Vermont break into the rotation, I think it'll definitely be him.
So I have two UMBC freshmen. I have
Okay.
Ashton Reese, somebody that definitely jumped out at me and should get some minutes. And I have Alpha Chimbambe
Okay.
at forward.
I
I
had a
think he will
different
get some
UMBC freshman.
minutes. Yeah,
I had a different UMBC freshman. I had Ace Valentine.
yeah.
And
I actually had him originally and took him off. Yeah,
I mean, UMBC is another team that just needs guys to step up, and I think either any of those guys can honestly be that guy. But yeah, I guess we will see. So now to our individual team reviews. where we start with Albany. Yeah, they were last year. I have them at 6 this year though.
I had them at fourth. Yeah.
Okay.
They're
Yeah,
a roster I do like.
definitely a lot of new players in, but I think new players can be pretty impactful. I mean, Sebastian Thomas, good point guard. We'll see if how good his finishing numbers are, but I think he can be impactful. Obviously
You got
Amari Marshall is
Beagle,
someone.
Bertram.
Amari Marshall, yeah, Beagle, and Bertram obviously already a double-digit score in the conference before. Reddish should be a solid piece on the wing. Neely coming back from injury, so he's basically a newcomer as well.
He's the X
Gianmarco
factor
Arletti,
for sure.
yeah, I would
Bautista
say so.
Terrell,
Um,
off the bench, freshman, 7 foot, 225. I think could be a nice backup big
okay,
if they want to go that route.
yeah,
Sebastian Thomas as well.
Arletti from Delaware should be a solid piece. Solid rotation player at Delaware.
Oh,
Marcus
is
Fillion,
he on here?
Gianmarco Arletti, is he not
I
on the
don't see
roster?
him on here. Oh, I
Well,
was
maybe.
wondering where he went. No, he's not on here.
Um, let's look this up.
He's on Albany's website anyway.
Hmm.
No, I don't see
Okay,
him.
yeah, I guess he's not on the team.
Hmm.
So yeah.
He was in
Um,
college for a bit.
yeah, it looks like he actually did indeed decommit. Let's see, did it say where he went? Yeah,
Uh,
he just went pro in Italy, so
I'm
he
about to
works for
say, I know
himself.
he's from Italy.
Okay, so I guess he's not in the team, but I did get a guy in Munir Newton. I guess he'll probably
Mhm.
play instead from William Penn. I think it's a D3 NAI, something like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
not a
good
great.
rebounder, good inside scorer.
Mm.
I mean Marcus Fillion takes some minutes there. Marcus Jackson, solid returner. Few freshmen, Zane Adnan maybe takes some minutes. But yeah, I think it's a better team than last year. Um, some solid pieces there. Especially Beagle, you would like to see a bigger sophomore year. Neely, you'd want to see healthy. Amari Marshall to realize his potential. And I think you have some pieces there. Definitely a lot of unknowns, but definitely got some stuff to work with. Should be much improved.
And they also have Marcus Fillion from Cornell.
Yep, Mark Schilling from Cornell.
Uh,
Didn't play a ton there, but Cornell very well run team
they were
last year.
very
So
deep and had size. Yep.
next team though, NJIT, Ivan Lats.
Yeah.
This team is not that good.
They're
Adam
bad.
has very good shooter, but like he's not really gonna take your team to new levels
Yeah,
really.
obviously.
You
Oh,
got the freshman, Makai Gray, Kelly J. Gruff,
and
could see
that's it.
some decent starter minutes. Elijah Buchanan from Manhattan
Oh
wasn't really
yes.
too efficient there, put up some numbers. Didn't like his efficiency.
Yeah,
Didn't
he's
play that
not
many games this year.
good.
I think he was hurt for most of the year. They also got a Daniel Schreier from Manhattan who was end of the bench piece. But yeah, a lot of freshmen: Jalen Robinson, Isaac Hester, Bilal El Shakari, Cameron Piggy, Jake Kohlberg, Jeffrey Akintolo. A lot of freshmen on the team. Demir Faison, Justin Anderson, some bench pieces returning. So there's just not a lot here. It's the first year for Grant Billmeyer. We'll give him some time, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Don't really have any. Do you have anything else to say about them?
Nah, no.
It's a work in progress, but I wouldn't expect anything to happen this year. And if anything happens this year, and Bill Meyer's a fantastic coach. But next team is Maine. I have Maine fourth.
I had them fifth. Yeah.
Okay. I honestly really like the team. Obviously, losing Giuseppe Patisse is pretty significant. But he was good, but Tynes is really good. Jaden Clayton, Shante Wright McLeish, Peter Filipovity, and Christian Fairbergs. That's a very solid starting five.
Mm-hmm.
Maine obviously showed some real
Definitely.
flashes last year compared to where they'd been in previous years. And then their bench, they filled out with some transfers like Jam Goose from Drake, Keon Burns from LIU. I mean, LIU sucked, but like he played decent minutes. I think he was a freshman. I'm not completely
He
sure,
averaged
but
like 8 a game
yeah,
there.
80 game. Adam Cisse, big man from Manhattan, averaged like 4 and 4.
I remember him.
Solid bench center. In conference transfer and AJ Lopez from New Hampshire played some solid bench minutes there. So round out their bench with some transfers there. Uh, Milos Nanatic, Keelan Steele, and Novak Prokovic. He's that last guy is coming back from not playing last season. Logan Carey and Isaac Bonilla, the incoming freshman. But yeah, and what are your thoughts about this roster? Maine's
Yeah,
on the
no,
up.
I think they have really good shooting. I think shooting's going to be a strength of theirs. Offensively, they're going to be a good team like they were last year. Maine's not to be overlooked. I don't know how that will. I don't know how they'll be defensively.
Are they gonna have
But
good shooting now?
I mean, those
I
foreign
don't know.
fours are
Looking
pretty
back at
good.
this though, yeah, not. I mean, they're not really shooters like they can. I guess Fairburg can kind of shoot a little bit, but not. He can shoot, but I mean, Jamgu's really gonna shoot. But overall, I don't think this is a good shooting team. Really,
Yeah. Um,
they
I
didn't.
mean,
They
I
weren't
guess
really.
in relativity to the rest of the conference, probably, but um, that's kind of what I was talking about. Like, obviously, on a national scale, they're not great at
Yeah,
anything, but
good. Obviously, a lot of it's due to times, but really good. Really good at getting steals. Tynes one of the best on-ball defenders in the country. Um,
hmm,
so yeah, Tynes is great. He really broke out last year, coming from Montana State, where he didn't see too many minutes, and he really filled up the stat
went to the
sheet.
other side of the country. That's
Yeah,
an interesting
still
transfer.
still stayed to the north though. He stayed at the top, just
Sure.
kind of moved laterally across. But yeah, Tynes only one game last year where he didn't have any steals. Um, yeah, he is
Gets in
really
the
good.
passing lanes.
Absolutely. Good passer too on offense, but yeah, definitely have some solid pieces. Philip Poverty, really good rebounder, should could also be a good piece for them. But yeah, next team is Binghamton, and I have Binghamton, the Bearcats, sitting at fifth in the conference.
I had them sixth. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
shuffling them around. I had them fourth.
they
Then
think
I
they're
had them
solid.
seventh,
I
but I
mean,
decided at six.
they lose some solid pieces, but Torrance should be guy that contributes right away. Instant impact player in the conference. Pet Cash, Hurried, um, very
Creek,
solid starters.
Belogan.
Yeah, Logan coming back. Ty Mujnari, I think started at one point at Quinnipiac. Um, should be a solid player there. Chris Walker coming in from Little Rock.
They got
Tavian White,
Nehemia
big man coming
Benson coming
back.
in for
But yeah,
Ryder.
Benson from Ryder. Should be a solid
He's
depth forward on the team.
mhm.
Gavin Walsh, Evan Ash should be some freshmen that could see some decent minutes right away. So yeah. Um, I mean they went 8-8 in conference last year. It's definitely higher than you would normally expect Binghamton to go. So
I remember
think
they
there
used to
is
be like the worst team in
yeah.
D1 for a while. Though they had some dark days. Them and Maine were so bad for a really good bit of time. So it's good to see them getting back on the right direction program wise.
Yeah, I mean I think they're definitely on the upswing now. I mean they have a new head coach, Lavelle Sanders, who's he was the interim and he got hired as their head coach. Yeah, he definitely did a better job than Tommy Dempsey did. So yeah. Next team up though is the UMBC Retrievers. I have them seventh. Um,
I had them seventh as well.
not a
Yeah.
big fan of this roster, but they have some pieces. Just definitely a downgrade from last year. It's lost some pretty good players. Like obviously I lost Colton Lawrence, who was really good. Jacob
The one rim
Bunis was
protector.
pretty solid guard. Craig Budone was pretty solid. They also just a bunch of like really solid players. So
I think their guards have upside. It's more
yeah, Bryce
their
Johnson is a
forwards.
solid. Don't know who's
Yeah,
gonna
he
be a
was a
point
solid
guard
pickup.
though. Not sure who's
I
gonna be a point
agree.
guard.
I have no
Maybe
idea.
Ace Valentine. I don't know.
True.
I don't know
Yeah.
if
Could
Bryce
ask for one of
Johnson's
the
like kind of a
freshmen.
point guard, but he's also like not really a facilitator.
Yeah,
Same
he's
with Dion
not.
Brown. I mean, but both solid players in the backcourt. Marlon Short coming over from Stanislaus State could be a solid player, was an
Mm,
impact player in D2. Kydarius Smith was pretty decent at USC Upstate. And then Max Lorca Lloyd coming up from Penn should be a solid big man. Marcus Banks didn't play last year, but was at Western Carolina 2 years ago where he put up some almost 8 points a game. So big freshman
Mm.
class too. Any more thoughts about this team?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's upside there. Just a lot needs to go right, I think, to hurdle the next two teams. And yeah, I just don't think the top end talent is the same as Maine and Binghamton. So
Yes. Next team up is Bryant. I had them third.
I have them second. I want to
Okay.
put them first badly, but I just on
Yeah, I
paper
mean,
they're the best roster. I
yeah.
I will stand by that. However, I got to see how this coaching mess works. That's always the thing with Bryant is their coaching.
Yeah, not
I think it's
exactly
a
sure
lot to
what's
do
going
it.
on right now. We don't really know what's going on, but at the same time, either way, this
I
roster
didn't
was
even know Phil Martelli Jr. was even on the staff until I saw, oh,
uh,
now he's the interim head coach. I'm like, I thought the Martelli brother was on Penn State staff, and apparently he's another one. So there's that, and that could be a big positive, but we'll have to see.
yes.
I love Pinzone. I think Edder's going to have a better year.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, Gross Bullock's a
a
big time
healthy,
player in the
healthy
conference.
Earl Timberlake.
I mean,
Another year of Gross Bullock.
Earl Timberlake is a
Um,
crazy athlete for the conference. Crazy that he ended up in the America East, considering
right. I
how
mean,
physical he is, and he wasn't even like he was good at
I don't know
Miami
how
too.
LaSalle lost out on him or let him go, but then again, it's LaSalle, so who really
Who?
wants to? Gross Bullock
Oh,
was at
Gross Bullock.
LaSalle,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was
Um,
Shreve Kenny back in those days.
oh man, those are the good old days. Where
Now
is
he's Shreve Gross Bullock though. Yeah, Pinzone was a player I liked at St. John's. Kayvon Kramer
Kramer's
could be in
good?
for
He's
a
a good
bigger
glue
role.
guy.
Last year, I
Yeah.
think he was hurt a little bit last year, had some medical issues, so
If
should
Bryant got
be.
hit, see, Bryant got hit by an injury Armageddon mid game last year in the conference tournament against New Hampshire. They had their three best players go down within a 10-minute span, and they were out for the game. So that I will say they got very unlucky in
Yeah.
that game.
Speaking about injuries, though, they also got Connor Willers from UMass Lowell, who has been hurt like the past 2 years. But if he's healthy, which I don't anticipate him to be like 100%, he is amazing when he's healthy.
Is
He's like an
he?
all
See,
conference guy.
I didn't
He
know
was
much
really
about
good.
him.
He was really good like 3 years ago at UMass Lowell, and then was hurt like for near to the whole season. Was okay last year, averaged like 4 points. But if he's healthy, he is really good. Don't anticipate him to be healthy, but he is very, very talented. Tyler
Okay.
Brailsford, I think, is a guy that could take a jump at guard. Same with
Yeah,
Eder.
I'm not a huge Brailsford fan, but
Yeah,
I
he's
think he's a solid
fine.
role player.
Yeah. Same with Miles Latimer.
How about Daniel Rivera is intriguing.
Yeah. He is intriguing. Coming from JUCO, then went to St. Louis, didn't play all at St. Louis, redshirted there. I think he's a player that a lot of people I know like him. I think he should
Okay.
provide some athleticism, physicality right away in the America East. Yeah, definitely a guy to also
I will
stick
say
out to
this about
me.
Grosso. He is a great talent evaluator. He knows how to
I
evaluate
mean,
talent.
he gets to
I
guys.
will give
He's
him that.
great recruiter, great talent
Um,
evaluator.
Especially you look at freshmen here. Jason Aruki is a guy I watched film on. Really impressive from IMG. 6'6" combo guard from Calgary.
Okay.
He is some real athleticism. He could jump out the gym. I mean, he'll fit right in with this team.
Okay.
Josh Osborne some minutes last year, pretty active on the glass again. He's a lot like Kramer, just Kramer's more experienced and older, so he's not going to get minutes. Aaron Davis is a guy I watched,
Yeah.
really, really good scorer. Prefers Love Christian Academy, 6'7", 215.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can just flat out score. And then they got his teammate Keyshawn Mitchell,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
at
Both those players
6'11".
are pretty solid.
Um, yeah, and then they're on my freshman team. So there's that. Or yeah, no, they are. They are.
Are they?
Maybe I forgot them. But they
Yeah.
they
I
they
mean,
are.
I don't know if the Mints are going to be there, but I think they're definitely going to be solid
Um,
players in
yeah, I mean
time. But yeah.
this roster is this all comes down to how this coaching situation plays out. We're gonna have to play out, see if what if Grosso comes back by conference play. Um, but I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't really even fully looked into the Grosso situation with.
I don't even know what's going on at this
I mean,
point.
if it's
I
as
wouldn't
bad as
expect him to
people
be
are
back like
saying,
anytime soon now.
like he could be out for some conference play.
he could be out
Um,
permanently.
yeah, that too. So
He's
I mean,
probably going to be out permanently. I think. I think it's
it's just we'll have to see. If he is out permanently, Grasso is a great recruiter, but like when it comes to his defense and his teams are just so not fundamentally
yeah.
sound. Like they're always committing dumb fouls.
They're fun to watch at least. So
They're fun.
they play fast. They have high powered offense. They have good offensive
I think the
weapons.
reason for that is they're all so athletic and just so
I mean,
talented.
just because
Just
it
love to
goes down to
run.
recruiting, like he's such a
He's
good
just so
recruiter.
much talent, and of
Yeah.
course, those guys are going to want to run and play fast. But I do think, with schemes and a new mind at the head coach position, I think things could change. I'm really curious to see how this plays out. However, I think I still have Vermont one as well. As much as I want to put this team one, I have to see it with Bryant. Bryant is just always an adventurous program over there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Next team up though in the conference. Let's see. We have New Hampshire. They were good last year. They fired their coach. They are eighth for me, second to
Same
last.
there. It's just frustrating,
I
man.
don't
I
know
just
what there
don't
is on this
understand.
roster. Like, I mean
I
Daniels, I
actually did
guess, but
a deep dive into this roster yesterday, so I can give you a good background on what there is here. So Ahmad Robinson's a solid JUCO guy from Western
yes,
Texas
put
College.
up good numbers.
He's
Yeah,
probably going to start. Him
maybe
and Dior
him or
Davis
Dior Davis. Yeah,
from
I was
Ellsworth,
gonna
who's
say
good
Ellsworth,
too.
another solid junior
Yeah.
college.
But then
Um,
besides that, like,
they got a D2 transfer, Naeem Miller from Edinburgh, who is
yeah, he's all
not
right.
good. He
Yeah,
is.
I didn't wasn't
He's a
impressed with
guy that
his
has like
numbers.
okay stats, and you look and do his finishing numbers, and
I was not impressed
it's
with him
not
really.
good.
I like Paul Gakmar from Hillsborough Community College from
Okay,
Perth,
okay.
Australia,
He
prospect
he
wise.
didn't put up big numbers there.
But he was efficient. He didn't put up big numbers, but he was efficient, and I think there's some intrigue there. I'm not saying he's good, but I think there's some intrigue.
Yeah, I mean,
Alex Tavares is solid, I guess. I mean, like Great Bay Community College, like that's the best we can do. But
yeah.
I mean, he
I mean,
put
they
up
also have
decent
some
numbers there.
returning guys. Ridvan Tudic and Jackson Baker should
I think
be
Nick Johnson was
starters.
a very underrated loss. He
Well, I mean,
was
he was an
good last
all-conference
year for them,
player.
man.
He was an
Right?
all-conference
No,
guy.
and
Like he's
that's the
not.
thing.
Yeah,
Um, but I think outside of AE circles, he was a really underrated guard. He was
he was solid. It wasn't super
very good off
efficient, but
Daniels.
yeah, yeah,
But he definitely helped them win games they weren't supposed to last year, which they did some of for sure.
yeah. But they're. I don't know if they're gonna do
This
much winning
year they
this
have
year.
Jackson Baker. Um,
Yeah, he's. I'm not sure where Kyle went there. Maybe maybe he ran out of power there. But I, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I'm gonna text Kyle see if he has anything to say because he just wasn't having any connection issues. Don't know what happened there. Let's see. It looks like Kyle's joining again. Um, don't see him on the screen, but he's in the Zoom room. Where are you, Kyle? Ah, here he is. What happened there?
you know, the usual internet. We
You
haven't
just like
had one
randomly
happen in a
disappeared though.
while.
You weren't really having issues. You just I didn't.
My internet wasn't stable for a while.
Well, it was working good until then. You just thought you might have ran out of power or
Yeah.
something, but yeah, yeah. I guess
I
now
don't live
for
in
anything
Kansas,
else,
bud.
and neither do I. Not anything else to say about New Hampshire really. Next team,
Just perplexing firing, and they're
yeah.
receiving the rippling effects of it.
Next team, UMass Lowell. I'm second. They, you
I went
obviously have
back
them
and forth,
third.
but I did put
Um,
them third because I think Brian has better top end talent. That is
yeah, but
my
this
reasoning.
team, they were really good last year.
They were.
Obviously, they lose a few
Um,
solid players,
mhm.
Hammond and Blunt, but They have some pieces. They have Abdul Kareem Koulibaly, who we've already talked about. Really good big man, really solid overall player. Hakeem coming back, solid guard. Maybe Jordan Thompson starts at point guard. Maybe Hakeem plays off the ball a little bit. Maybe Braden O'Connor is definitely a guy that has been talked about as a big breakout guy. Max Brooks is another returning player that averaged over 8 points a game last year. Gary Covington, solid guard, returning for year two with the program, I believe.
Yeah.
Fulgencio coming from Bloomfield could really shoot the ball there. Another guy that can facilitate a little bit. Had good rebounding numbers for his size. Maybe that's just a D2 effect. Xavier Lino from Whitman. I think he was a player of the year in his NAI conference. Didn't put up any crazy numbers, but was a yeah, D3 player of the year in his conference. Very solid player, honestly. Was on a good D3 team. I think he's a guy that could be sneaky, really good. I mean, he shot 43% from three. Yeah. Yeah, both are transfers I got. In Fulgencio and Lino can really shoot. Cam Morris, obviously Quentin Mincy, you think he's a big breakout guy. A lot. There's a lot in this team. There's a lot to be excited about.
There
Good
is.
coaching too.
Yeah, their coach is very good. I do love their system offensively.
Yeah, I mean they
I just
won
love the
26
run.
games last season. I think they can. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to win
I don't
26
think they're
games
going to win
again,
26.
but
I do think they're a bit worse this year personally, and I think it comes down to
I
the top end
yeah, I don't
talent.
know if they're worse. I just think their
I
schedule might
mean,
not be
the
so
thing
easy.
is, like, and are we relying on Yuri Covington and Hakeem to be like number one perimeter options?
I
Like,
mean,
that's just,
Covington's on the bench,
I
probably.
mean, yeah, I would hope. Um, but then Hakeem being like your number one,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, he's solid. I
their
won't say
number
he's
one.
bad.
There's probably Koulibaly, but he's also not perimeter.
Right.
Maybe O'Connor balls. Maybe like maybe Thompson becomes that guy.
Even you just compare it to Bryant, and you have these established stars, in Sharif Gross
Yeah,
Bullock and
but
Earl Timberlake. Um, but again, coaching does matter.
I
And if
mean,
this,
UMass Lowell swept Bryant last year. Neither game was particularly close.
yeah, let's hope Jared Grosso's not at the helm this time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
But no, yeah, and I think with Timberlake was hurt a lot last year. He
yeah,
was in and out of games all the time. I'm hoping we get a full season of him.
yes,
I think him and Koulibaly would be a fun matchup for sure.
yeah,
Definitely a physical battle in the paint. And
yeah,
both teams love the run, so it would be really fast paced. But no, Lowell
yes,
ran them out the gym last year. I remember even watching one of those
yes,
games.
yeah.
I don't think their play style definitely bears. It's like Bryant facing themselves in a way. They're facing a clone of themselves that plays the same pace. Maybe isn't as talented, but they're still very talented. Um, they love to run, but they have a better coach, and
Yeah.
that's what it does usually come down to.
Next team, though, Vermont. Obviously, the best team in the conference we both have. It's always going to be Vermont's conference. They're never going to lose it. They are never going to lose the conference.
And
Solid,
they get
solid
to
roster
play,
too.
and they get to play, their conference tournament on their freaking home court, which I hate, but
Yeah, I don't like that either. But they
it
earned
is
it
what
through
it
the season.
is. They
So
don't have funding for a lot of conferences still don't, which is
yeah, but
sad,
very
but
solid roster too. I mean, nothing like super jumps out, but very solid overall. Deloney, Mills, Bogues,
I had
Vredo.
some names jump out at me at first, but then
Yeah, I
I
mean, no
actually
one's gonna like
processed
set
the
the world on
roster,
fire, but like
and then I'm
also
like,
very solid
okay, maybe
roster.
this isn't as good as I thought. But then again, it's Vermont, so like I
hmm
have to have them on.
TJ Hurley is a guy I think could take a jump. Um, Obviously, Seth Joba could play some minutes as a freshman. Larry Aofale, former Rhode Island transfer, could see
Mm,
expanded minutes at a forward. Nick Fiorio could also see some solid minutes there. Just it doesn't matter. They're gonna win it. Like
Yeah, it's just hard to
it
say.
doesn't matter.
I
It's
can't
always
disagree
gonna win
with
the
you there
conference. Have the best coach in the conference. Just
by a long shot. Yeah.
there's too good overall. I mean,
But then again, they'll also never do anything this term. And I don't see that changing this year, especially with, I think, a watered down version of other Vermonts this year. They just don't seem to have that top end talent. The best Vermont team was with Anthony Lamb. Those
I mean,
Anthony
he was
Lamb
one of the best
teams,
players in the country. Like you
he
can't really.
was low key.
Um,
But then he went to the NBA and then he decided to beat his girlfriend. I think he's out of the league now because of that. But no, those are my favorite Vermont teams for sure.
mhm. Yeah, those were fun to watch. Yeah. So I guess that concludes our America East preview. Anything else to say?
No, I'm actually going to be watching some America. I watched America East last year. New Hampshire was my most watched team for the most
We're not
random of
gonna watch them. We're
reasons.
not gonna be
We're not
watching
going to
this
be
year.
watching them this year.
Maybe you want to see like Clarence Daniels play a time or two, and maybe see if anyone else is good. But
Yeah, and you don't want to see New Hampshire play on the road either. It was only at home, but on the road they were so bad. So yeah, we'll be watching some Bryant this year though. And
yeah, they're fun at least.
they are. No, they're a very eventful program. We get to see some more Jared Grosso drama, which I am very intrigued
Yeah,
for.
maybe see how Albany looks. I'm kind of interested in Albany.
Yeah,
Maybe Maine. Maybe
Albany and Maine will watch. Albany's
UMass
really
Lowell, Vermont,
intriguing.
obviously. Yeah,
Um, uh,
yeah. Overall, a decent conference.
it
Don't hate
surpassed my
it.
expectations, and I agree with you. I think it's better than the Patriot easily this year. I can agree with
Yeah, I mean
that.
it's usually better.
Yeah, no, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean Vermont's a clear favorite, but there's the group of teams
Adding
much
Bryant,
better.
adding Bryant helps this
Yeah,
conference. Even if they haven't entirely performed yet. Um, it's a lot better when they were in the NEC, and then it was just Vermont versus all these randoms, and that was the worst. And
yeah,
Lowell's at least gotten good since
yeah.
Bryant joined the conference, which is good. So it creates some competition. Maine's gotten better. Albany should hopefully be better. Binghamton's more respectable, etc.
When was the last time Vermont didn't win a conference? Let's
So one of
see.
those UMBC years. But
Yeah,
then
I mean
again,
the UMBC when they won the game in the tournament, but I don't know when was the last time Vermont didn't win like the
the
regular
regular season.
season.
Oh man, you're gonna be really. Oh,
Should they went this year? They went 11-5. Now Stony Brook. I guess Stony Brook won it when they had Jameel Warney.
okay. Yeah, no,
He
Stony
was
Brook.
good.
Stony Brook was a program that I thought was going to be on the uprise, and my dad was too, because he's from New York and everything. He's like, "Oh, keep an eye out for Stony Brook. They're going to be increasing their funding," and
Oh,
it just
that's when they had Steve Pikiell,
that's right.
and then
Yeah,
he left.
and then everything fell apart after he left. I forgot
Yeah,
he was over there. Ah, no wonder.
I don't like Gino Ford.
No, I don't either. And
The
aren't they
program has
moving
gone downhill.
conferences? Yeah, now they're
I
moving
mean,
to
yeah,
the
they're in CA
Colonial,
now.
which is dumb.
Maybe they were bad last year. They were bad, but
I
they
don't
had
even
some
know why.
injuries.
I don't even know why they're making the move.
They
Um,
had some injuries last year. Like Aaron Clark only played 3 games. He was a
they
good
did,
player.
yeah.
Who else was hurt last year? They had a lot of injuries.
Policelli a couple of years ago.
I mean he was healthy last year, but like just last year,
Yeah. Oh,
um,
is that Rodriguez guy?
Juan
Uh,
Felix Rodriguez.
yeah, yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Let's see,
I didn't watch a
Bree
lot of
Phillip
them.
I think was hurt last year. He's really super athlete. Yeah, Aaron Clark was hurt. Dean Knoll I think was hurt last year. He was a guy I really liked.
Hmm.
Coming out of Cornell. Yeah, the backcourt I was like super high in Clark and Nolan, and they both got hurt. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, hopefully they're not hurt again this year, but yeah, not in the conference anymore, so it doesn't matter that much. But yeah, yes, we will be back with another conference preview at some point. Um,
Mm.
all right. Well, yeah, next conference you're probably going to be seeing is the Big South. So yeah, if you've been watching, just make sure to give us a follow on our social media at Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok at Hoop Scoop Media. And yeah, Big South is on deck.